All right, so I saw the story this morning, and granted, I was not, I really wasn't looking up many NBA topics or Laker topics or anything like that these last couple of days. I saw this topic. Anthony Davis wears Mavs hat to Lakers practice facility in video at Clutch Pro Day. So they had their Clutch Pro Day, where executives, coaches around the NBA gathered to see some of these different players. And Anthony Davis was there, and he's rocking a Dallas Mavericks hat. This is, by the way, funny to me that that's kind of like the big story, like, oh my gosh, he's wearing a Mavs hat. I'm like, well, he plays for the Mavs. Yeah, but he's at the Lakers practice facility and he's wearing a Mavs hat. Well, he got traded to Dallas. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but I do like that people were, obviously looking at that like, oh my gosh, here's Anthony Davis. He's wearing this Mavs hat. Somebody had asked me this a couple weeks ago, and I never made it a topic. And then I thought about it today just because, anyways, we saw this story and everything else. So I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about this today. Let's pretend for a quick second AD was not traded to the Dallas Mavericks, and the Lakers played out the rest of this season as is. So the Lakers end up playing the rest of this season with Anthony Davis and with Max Christie. How far do you think this team would have gone? If we just pretend Anthony Davis, Max Christie, the rest of the crew, Austin Reeves, LeBron, everybody else, obviously that team was much more built as a team. They were more complete. You kind of had the right positions kind of sealed up. Jackson Hayes was a player that was coming off the bench. You still had Dorian Finney-Smith on the team. If they just walked into the NBA in the playoffs as a number 3 seed, and it was still AD and Max Christie with the rest of the crew, how far do you think they would have gone? So I'm thinking about this. I'm saying to myself, I'm like, okay, well, you got Minnesota in the first round. First off, Minnesota dominated the Lakers because of their size, because of their rebounding, because of their length. All that equalizes because AD is still there. You could still use Jackson Hayes as you need to. Max Christie, I think, is obviously from a defensive perspective in the backcourt would have been a much better asset for the Lakers than what they had in the playoffs. I actually think it would be a lot different for this playoff round. Now, I'll tell you what wouldn't happen. I don't think they're getting to the NBA Finals, and I don't think they're winning an NBA championship. So I don't think that's happening. But I do think that team would be much more dangerous than the team that the Lakers ended up with. Now, listen, we all understand why the Lakers made the trade. They didn't make a trade to compete for a championship this year. They made the trade because the idea was to compete for a championship for the next 5 years, right? 5-8 years. I mean, let's see how long Luka's a Laker and see what kind of team they can build around. So I don't question the trade. I think the trade was the right move. Obviously now it's going to be up to the front office to put together the right team and make sure that they put together a squad that makes sense and put together a squad that eventually is competing for an NBA championship. It's going to be up to Luka to make sure that he's got the best body as far as being ready to grind out 82 games and everything else that comes with that and being in the best shape that he can be. But that team would have definitely gone further. I don't think they would have competed for a championship. Do I think they could have beat the Minnesota Timberwolves? Yeah, but I also think that would be a really good series. I think it could have gone either way. I think it's actually a really good series. The Golden State Warriors, okay, the Warriors, if they're healthy, they got Jimmy Butler. I think they could have beat the Golden State Warriors, but again, I think that's a really good series. I don't know how much let's put it this way. If they got to all the way to the Western Conference Finals, and I don't think they're getting past the Oklahoma City Thunder, I just don't. I don't think they'd beat the Oklahoma City Thunder. But if that trade doesn't go down, yes, the team probably goes further. Definitely more a threat in the playoffs, but I don't think, a threat to the extent of they're hanging up banner number 18. I don't think that part's happening. Not that, obviously this is going to change anything at this point, but I do think that the team would have probably given themselves a much further chance of advancing than what this current roster did. Let's see what we got here. Slee, I think they would have battled into the Western Conference Finals, but in the end lost because AD would no doubt have gotten hurt. Yeah, and even if he didn't get hurt, I thought there was a ceiling to that roster as well. Thinking about it, Lakers probably still losing 6 or 7 games with AD. LeBron didn't show up in the fourth, and we know AD doesn't either. Yeah, the AD piece in the fourth quarter was never the best. Out in the second round, okay, so you end up losing to the Golden State Warriors. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. All right, some people talking about the whole hat thing. Yep, not good. Can't score a run, brother. Can't score a run. It's awful. Rui better than most Lakers on D. Let's see what we got here. Let me read a couple more here. Lakers probably aren't in the third seed if AD was out. Interesting, but maybe they actually go further in the playoffs. Seeding was never anything that kind of mattered for the Lakers, right? Seeding was never anything that mattered for the Lakers. It was more just get in the playoffs and then just go from there. AD would have went down in game 2. I know. People feel a certain way about, the AD portion of this. AD Luka trade was a testament to the Lakers' mantra, championship or bust. Maybe not the best trade for this year, but we wouldn't have won anyways. Glad we pushed our chips. I agree with you on that. That's a very accurate statement there. I 100% agree with you on that. I think there's definitely a portion of this that, hey, this is what the team does. They felt like we are not winning another championship with LeBron and AD. So if we could trade that and obviously walk away, I guarantee when the season started, they didn't think they were going to have a chance at Luka. If they could change that, they did, and they didn't hesitate. All right, thank you very much for watching the clip. Just want to give a shout out here to one of our partners, the Wallace Firm. They are official injury attorney of the Sliwa Show and Hoops Talk, the entire channel. If you are ever in a need, and I hope you're not, but some type of serious injury with yourself or a family member of yours, I would like to personally help you by introducing you to the best in the business, Brad Wallace and the Wallace Firm. Also got a URL out here that you can use as well. Just go to wallacewins.com/Sliwa. Thank you for their partnership, and thank you for being a part of the Sliwa Show.